I was on a set recently and we were having a really awful time with the director and the production team. And it had really filtered down to the crew. It was just quite a negative space. And they were just talking about it being this ladder. And I was like, no, it's the human centipede. And I could just feel your words coming out of my mouth like the shit in the human centipede.
Jesus.
And it was just coming out, Sona. And I gave this whole monologue straight out of your book. And you know what? Silence just befell. There was just silence. And then they were all just like, yeah, it is. Yeah. So I was just wondering if you could give us a brief retelling of this human centipede, because it is so relatable.
Glad. Have you guys watched it?
No.
Yeah. I met the woman who did the prosthetics the other day.
Get out. Haley, that's a huge...
Yeah, she's a makeup artist now.
That's a celeb sighting. I mean, that movie is something. It's a movie. I'm really glad. Here's every once in a while, my kids are 2.5, and every once in a while I'm like, they're going to listen to and read my book one day, and they're going to listen to like things I talk about, and they're going to come to me and be like, Mom, what's the human centipede? And can we watch it? And I'm dreading it. So, okay, for those of you who don't know, the human centipede is these two women who are lost stumble upon a doctor's home, and he's clearly a psychopath. And they're like, sure, we'll go inside for a drink. He drugs them. Then when they wake up, they are sewn ass to mouth with another guy. So there's 3 of them. And then one eats, shits into the other person's mouth. That one eats, shits into the other person's mouth. And then that person just shits into the ether. And the idea is this sustainable? Can we live off of just a pure shit diet? And so, like, can these 3 people just like live in this like system that just is like feeding off of itself? So that's what it is. And then I, in my book, compare that to the entertainment industry. But in my example, the person who's in the very front is the person in charge. So he gets to eat like steak, and he gets to eat like, delicious meals and like, I don't know, caviar. And then he shits into the mouth of the people behind him. And then that person eats shit and then shits into the last person. So it's like a hierarchy. And then my whole thing is that there is this system that's existed for a long time in the entertainment industry where the people in charge basically shit into the mouths of the people below them. And then eventually that person goes away, and then the person who is second becomes the first person. And then he starts to eat steak and caviar and all this stuff, and then shits into the mouths of the people behind him. And the idea was that for a very long time, we were okay with people shitting in our mouths. And then there needs to be a point where someone breaks the centipede and says, hey guys, this system does not work. Shitting in mouths is not okay. It's not okay to eat the shit, and it's not okay to shit into somebody else's mouth. And I think that that's slowly happening, because when I first graduated college, I remember people were like, well, you clearly have to work at an agency for a year because you need somebody to shit in your mouth. You need to get abuse and thicken your skin so that you could like be okay with all the other abuse that's going to follow. And I was like, okay. Like when in my naivete, I was like, yes, I will allow that to happen. I'm totally fine with someone abusing me. I'm completely fine with people yelling at me. I will do that because I want to work in TV. And now I feel like there's a generation, hopefully, that's coming that's like, no, it's not okay to be abused, and it's not okay to abuse people. And I mean, it still obviously happens all the time. And it's still very prevalent, but I think now people get called on it a lot more. And so now people, I think, hopefully are becoming a lot more cognizant of how they treat people. And I'm hoping that my analogy is going to eventually become no longer relevant, but it still is relevant. And I think there's still a lot of people out there who are shitting in other people's mouths and other people who are like, yes, I will have more of your shit, please. And I will shit into the other person's mouth. And I think that like, I just want to see that cycle end. And I brought it up because in my job working for Conan was not that person.
Right.
He was not mean to me. He's never, aside from like saying I floated to this country in a basket and saying I need an industrial press to straighten my hair and telling people that I steal babies and I steal things and, like calling my dad Geppetto and saying that like he built my brother out of wood. And, this is just like the tip of the iceberg of the stuff that he said. But even though he said all these things, in the grand scheme of things, he has always treated me very nicely and with respect. And he is a very accomplished person. And I think that we can get to the point where people who are in a position of power are like comfortable with their power and realize they don't have to treat the people who work for them like garbage. And so that's basically what the gist of that entire section was. And I'm thrilled you brought it up. You guys are really just bringing up a lot of fun things I'm enjoying talking about. So thank you for doing that. This is so fun.
It's one of my favorite things in the book because, like, my job, I work as an intimacy coordinator on set. So my job, like, exists to, so I'm there to try and get actors to be comfortable in saying no. So it was very kind of prudent to what I do, that section for sure, and how crews are just kind of manipulated as well.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by intimacy coordinators. I feel like it didn't always exist, that position, right?
No. So in theatre, it's existed for a really long time, but you were called the assistant director for intimacy. It's not very catchy. And then the Me Too movement kind of kicked off and we kind of started working in film and TV as well. It's definitely becoming, like, I find myself on sets now where it's not just sex scenes, it's kisses, it's intimate touching, it's a parent holding a child who isn't their child, that kind of thing. It really is kind of a growing industry.
Isn't it nice though that like someone woke up one day and was like, hey, we should check to make sure everybody's okay with the things that they're doing? And it's one of those things where you're like, why was this so obvious and why did it take so long for it to happen?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts because you wouldn't do that with a stunt. So you're capable of throwing yourself off a building, but you're not going to go and do it, are you?
No.